Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm here with Emily from Gold City Ventures. She specializes in print on demand products that are optimized to be gifted. So I can't wait to hear a little bit more about her success story. Thank you for joining me, Emily.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and did I hear correctly that you're coming up on like a $500,000 in sales?
Yes, I cannot even believe that those words are coming out of my mouth, but yes, I am about to hit $500,000 in revenue on Etsy. It will likely happen today. So I am super excited. I think before this call, I was about $150 shy. So I am close.
That is absolutely incredible. And
Thanks.
from one POD seller to another, congratulations. And I mean, this is only the beginning, right? You'll be crushing, 8 figures at some point.
I hope so. That's the plan. I can't even believe, like I said, that I'm here. So I'm excited to celebrate this milestone and then figure out what's coming next, too.
Nice. One of my favorite questions to start with is like, how did you get started with print on demand? Like, my story is I had no clue what it was. Then I figured out what it was. And then it took me years to kind of figure out like how to make it work for me. So people think I was an overnight success. Exact opposite. Like, what was your story like?
Sure. So I am a mom to two young girls, working mom, was working full time. And I, like many others, was doom scrolling in the middle of the night on Instagram and social media. I was seeing all of these people have success with some type of side hustle. So found myself down that algorithm rabbit hole and looking at all these different side hustles. I actually started by selling on Amazon. I was doing Amazon FBA where I was buying products, reselling them, doing arbitrage, all of that. And I was doing well with it. I enjoyed it. And it really opened my eyes to the power of the side hustle, of making money online and the opportunity out there. One day I was doing some Amazon stuff and I was on YouTube and I came across a video about print on demand. And I had already started feeling like Amazon might not be the best fit for me long term. Like I said, I have two kids, I was working full time. The physical toll of prepping products and managing inventory and doing all of that myself was really hard. And so when I saw print on demand and I was like, oh, I don't have to actually touch anything, this is perfect because I liked doing all of the research. I liked, researching what was selling, what I could do, where there was demand, all of that. I am somewhat creative. I wouldn't say I have no graphic design experience, but I was like, okay, this seems like it could be a fit for me. And then January 1st, 2023, I was like, I'm going to focus my energy here. I'm really going to commit. And I did. And then it really started working. And I was like, okay, we're just going to really keep moving in this direction. And so, yeah, it was, like I said, like many people, just looking at what's available out there. I wanted some more time with my kids. I wanted to bring in a little more money and just happened to stumble across it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you're coming up on your 2 year anniversary. So not only are you
Yes.
crushing the sales numbers, but doing it in a rapid fashion compared to the average experience with print on demand. So congrats there.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I started with Amazon FBA myself. Like, I didn't do the retail arbitrage because I guess like a funny story is like I'm just like annoying to go shopping with. So anybody like I'll never go myself. And if I ever go with like, either like my mom or my, now wife, like I'll just get banned. They just say never again are we doing this. So like I always think of like retail arb as like I'm never physically in a store. So I would order it from like different manufacturers overseas, never touch the products, but it's like then you hear about print on demand, you're like, wait a second, it can be even easier and less capital intensive. And then it just feels like the biggest blessing to be able to pivot over there.
Yes, and that was a big thing too, and having a family and kids that I'm preparing, college savings, all of that, and I was taking a good amount of money to put into this inventory that I would hope would sell on Amazon and resell, but, there's a little bit of a risk there, a lot of a risk depending how much money you're investing up front. So, with print on demand, not having to have that upfront investment was huge for me, and so that was really great, and that was a huge draw along with not having to touch anything and being able to do it more passively. That all of the above was sign me up. I was in, I was ready to go.
Love that. And one question, like unrelated, I love like action oriented details that you can share. And I want to ask you a
Mhm.
bunch of questions about that. But like, I'm also very interested in, I think most people that watch my videos in general identify as beginners, even if they're not. So like, was there anything like psychologically that you maybe had in your mind that like helped you? Like when you said you saw the potential of Amazon, like you felt like it was working for you and you saw the, like, was there some like way that you framed it in your mind to feel that like this would work for you? Like for me, I would break my profit down into dollars per day. So like it would never felt too daunting. Like if I made $5 in a day, nobody cares, right? I would tell my friends they didn't care at all, right? But if I did 5 times 365 and it's like $1,500 or whatever, my math is bad, but whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like then all of a sudden they cared and it's the same number. Like, did you have any insights like that you could share?
Honestly, no. I'm probably more of a feelings person, which probably doesn't translate well initially to business. But I will say, when I got my first organic, Etsy cha-ching, I was instantly like, oh my gosh, it's working. This person that's a stranger bought something across the country. I never even thought I would make a sale, but I remember standing there and I was at a birthday party for my daughter's friend. We were at a gymnastics. I can tell you every detail. We were at a gymnastics warehouse. They were eating cake and my phone buzzed and it was Etsy and it was the first organic sale I had. And I remember standing there and being like, this is it. We're making this happen. This is going to be our ticket. And I think a lot of it is just a little bit of delusion. I was very much like, this is happening. Like, we're going to do this, even if I really didn't have the backing for that. But I felt like, okay, this is proof of concept that this can work. And at that point, I didn't have very many listings up. So I was thinking, okay, I only have X number of listings up. I'm already starting to get organic sales. If I multiply that by, 10, then we're talking about 10 sales a day, or we're talking about 20 sales a day. And so I started doing some of that math. And that was really what kind of put the fire under me. And that's when I really started pushing out a lot of listings consistently.
That's awesome. And I guess where most people, if I had to guess, are that are watching this, it might be the, sale a day and they're trying to get to the, 5 sales a day and then 10 sales a day kind of thing. Like it's amazing when you do get that first sale though. And you're like, like whenever someone gets their first sale and they reach out to me, what do I do? I'm just like,
Yeah.
honestly, nothing. It
Yeah.
should auto fulfill. And if there's no customer service requirement or anything like that, like you're good to go and you're experiencing why this business is so powerful. Can you speak to like maybe how you think you were able to, like, what was the secret to climb and turn 1 sale day into 10 into 100?
Sure. So there's a couple things. So two things. So number one is I was very, I would say, structured in my goals in terms of what I wanted to accomplish. And something that I recommend to other new print on demand sellers or Etsy sellers is setting goals that you control. So I've seen a lot, and I did this at first too. I want to make $1,000 a month. Well, I can't really control who's purchasing my products. I can't control them actually putting their credit card in. But what I can control is how many listings I'm putting out and how much research I'm doing, how much I'm working on improving my designs, all of that. So I really tried to focus on elements that I can control. And I had a whiteboard on my fridge and I would write down and I would tally like how many listings I was doing, and I would check off that I did my research. And I really was very structured and very regimented in that, because I found by doing that, I could see the progress happening so much quicker. Before that, I was kind of like, oh, I'll do a little bit today, I'll do a little bit here. But once I really set very, very clear, specific goals for myself every day, like action steps, it started happening. And that snowball effect that everyone talks about started happening. And so that was great. And then the second thing is, we touched on this at the beginning, is I really shifted towards these more gift focused products. And so I had started with t-shirts and sweatshirts and done a lot of the apparel things. And that was working. I was getting sales. I was getting kind of those, 1 to 2, 3 daily sales a day, which was great.
And was it like Printful, Printify? Not to cut your flow off, but
No,
just out of
that's okay.
curiosity.
Printify. Yep. So I
Okay.
was using Printify and I was seeing progress and I was excited. I was like, this is great. I'm getting sales. I don't know these people and they're purchasing a design that I created, and that's awesome. And then I decided to experiment a little bit with some other product types. And I noticed pretty quickly that those started selling much quicker. And so I decided to double down and use the data that I had in front of me, which was, these types of products for your design style are working really well. For your customer type, they're working really well. So I moved in that direction. And then that's when things really just started skyrocketing for me.
Kind of a similar story, I think, to many who achieve like success. And maybe it takes some level of success too to really feel like you want to double down or triple down. is kind of like pivoting away from maybe what everybody is doing. I think most people do start with t-shirts and like I'm
Sure.
guilty of that. Like my story, and it's so I don't want to make this interview about me, but it's like, man,
No,
there's so many
no.
parallels to like
Yeah.
my story. I started on a program called Amazon Merch,
Yes.
and like kind of like how you wrote your own goals, even though you came up with those goals in your head, like they weren't like imposed on you. Amazon Merch was the first exposure I had to print on demand. And they put those limitations on you. So you don't even have to come up with your own goals. They literally say, like, hey, you're new. You can have 10 designs posted and you can post like one per day. And that's it, you
Mhm.
know? And then if you're successful, they bump that up to 25 and two per day, you know? And it just keeps building incrementally. And that's,
Right.
I love that they gamify it. And it's that incremental approach so that you don't just feel completely overwhelmed. Because me being like, I don't know, 6 months in, when they bumped me up to, I think, tier 500, I could have 500 designs now and post 20 a day. I remember that feeling. Like, I was like, man, I'll never be able to hit. I mean, I was able to hit, but like I was struggling to hit my 20 uploads a day.
Right.
And that's a weird feeling. What's your secret to like coming up with your goals? I mean, not to harp on that too much, but I do think that's
No.
brilliant insights because it's like a binary thing sometimes. It's like you're either still pushing your business forward or you give up. And like at
Right.
all costs, like if it's a viable business and you can make it work, you need to keep pushing it forward. Something like having goals that you can hit that are realistic
Mhm.
can make a world of difference.
Yeah, and I know goals are kind of the boring stuff, but it really is like the sauce and the pizza. Like it was so key to getting me there. And I think it's something as simple as literally writing it down where I can see it every day and it's staring at me in the face saying like, have you done your 2 listings today? Have you done your research today? Have you done your designs? And so it was very simple things. You don't even need anything fancy. You don't need a project management calendar software, anything like that. It was literally pen and paper or a little magnet whiteboard I had on my fridge because I was thinking, oh, I go to the fridge every day, right? We all go get something out of the fridge. And so I was like, I want something that's going to look at me every day and remind me what I want to be doing. And I think it was also just creating time. I'm at the time very busy, full time, 2 young kids, married, all the things that come with that. And by having it written down and kind of having that it's happening one way or another, I just was able to fit it in. I love reality TV. I love binging pop culture shows. And I decided, okay, I can do these things at the same time. So I can watch Housewives and I can work on my listings. So I found a way to make that work together.
Me too. I have like a
Yeah.
TV that just like sits above my three monitors and
Yeah.
I'll just put whatever I want on there. That was how I did it too.
Yeah. You have to
I,
make it
I almost
fun
miss those
too.
days, the early days, you
I
know?
know. I know.
Because the business has like evolved. I think for us both now. By the way, I wanted to ask really quickly, like, which is your favorite Housewives? I got into it when I first got COVID, and I started watching the Housewives of Atlanta, and I'm like, I'm addicted.
Oh, so I do love Housewives of Atlanta. That used to be one of my favorites. I would say now it's probably Salt Lake City or Miami because I'm from Miami. So I do love the Real Housewives of Miami, but I watch all of them. So I could tell you a different show at any time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I watch Atlanta, but the rest of them I see in passing because my wife still watches all of them too. But yeah. So your business evolved into coaching as well. Now I
Mhm.
wanted to ask because you said started with the t-shirts, sweatshirts, like most people
Mhm.
do, pivoted to some other products. I have a private community. We do weekly, 2 calls a week, honestly, and it's like a nice tight knit group coaching. We just did a calendar contest in November. Nobody had ever even tried to sell calendars. We had one person sell 170 in 30 days.
Yes.
Like, so we see the potential. I
Yes.
want to ask you if you're willing to share maybe a few of
Mhm.
those other product types, and if it's that you have
Yeah.
the gift course that you worked on with Gold City Ventures, and we have to go check that out. That's
Yeah.
also completely fine.
Yeah, I can actually tell you. So, in the Gift Lab is our new course with Gold City Ventures. It's focused on gift focus, print on demand products. And we go through, and I'll share the 5 products that we talk about in that course, which are truly 5 of the top products that I sell in my shops, which are journals, mugs, tote bags, candles. Oh my gosh, what am I missing here? Ornaments is the last one. Yes. So those are 5 of the top products that I sell. And I would say one that surprised me the most is journals. That's been one that has taken me by surprise, is one of my favorite products to sell. I research journals all the time now because they sell in all sorts of niches for all sorts of customers. And what I love about the products that we talk about and that I've focused on is that you can create really, really simple text-based designs, but focusing on kind of that emotional connection that comes with a gift. You want something that really speaks to someone, even if it's really, really simple. You want something that they can't go find at Target or Walmart when they're shopping for a holiday or for an occasion. But if they see something like a journal that's personalized or not personalized, but it's specific to something that they love or a career or a hobby or their relationships or something like that, they are going to feel really drawn to that. And it's amazing what a small journal can do on Etsy. And that's been one that's really taken me by surprise that I love to share about.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I used
Mhm.
to sell Amazon KDP journals like
Yep.
all the time, but like I did it in such a like janky way. I would just convert t-shirt designs into journal covers
Into
and then
journals.
sell lined paper. And like KDP doesn't want that anymore. So perhaps maybe I'm just thinking out loud now,
Hmm.
that opened the door to selling the same kind of journals, just like not on KDP where they don't really want the to be
Right.
spammed, you know? Is that, do you think maybe that has something to do with it, or am I like off the mark?
It could be. I mean, it definitely could be. I think there is a lot of potential, Etsy or other places to it's interesting because I think a journal is something that is easily giftable for friends, family, coworkers. It's a big one. Coworkers, people in your life. And I think that's like a safe gift for a lot of people, and if it's something unique or it has a funny saying on it or it's something just special, then that's something fun that they can give to someone that's kind of like in a nice price range for most average consumers. And it's easily shipped, it's easily given, it's kind of a safe gift.
Yeah, I love that idea. And I also experienced like the coworker
Yes.
optimized
Yes.
journals was my biggest success story.
Yeah.
Like there were some funny ones, like things that could have been said in an email
Yes.
that ended up becoming a meeting or something.
Yes.
Simple text-based designs that just crushed on
Mhm.
Amazon when I was doing KDP. One thing I wanted to commend you on though is like just setting a lens to look at the products that you're selling through. It's like just for everybody watching, the people that buy these don't have to buy them as gifts, but you as the seller looking at it through that lens, it helps refine what you're doing instead of
Yes.
just thinking of all potential possible outcomes. You know what I mean? And like I had a guest on yesterday for my private group, and his thing was he'll duplicate a listing 10 times if he has to set the SEO lens for each, like the same product, but like
Yep.
tweak the SEO through a different lens for each one. And you can do that too, right? But even just saying like, hey, take a hint, by the way. I saw Etsy Super Bowl ad a year or two ago. We're the place to go for gifts. And you're saying, hey, I've been optimizing everything as gifts on Etsy.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense that you're, able to create such big wins.
Yes, it's been huge, and honestly, it happened a little bit organically, but it also happened by looking at I'm a big data person. I wouldn't have necessarily called myself a data person before, but I realized pretty quickly that I am, and I enjoyed the keyword research, and I enjoyed looking for these gaps, but then also looking at my own stats and seeing where were the little wins, even if they were little wins. Like I was getting some visits on a product, and by reading into some of that, reading the tea leaves a little bit, like you're able to see, oh, wow, these things are kind of bumping up really quickly. And I think that's where I started getting, and even customer reviews coming in saying, this was a great gift. Light bulbs like went off, and I'm like, well, duh, why haven't I been approaching it from this perspective the whole time? And that's really when I started making that shift.
Awesome. I love that. Is there any questions that like I'm not asking where you have like some really good insights to share? Now you do have a whole course dedicated to this as a part of the Gold City Ventures umbrella.
Mhm.
Like I'm good friends with Cody. I've done his podcast. He's done mine. I haven't met Julie yet, but I have nothing but good things to say about them. Like what else can you share with us for
Mhm.
anybody that's like interested in selling gifts on Etsy and is potentially interested in your course?
Sure. So we in the course also provide what we call the micro niching workbook, which is a spreadsheet that walks you through this idea of niching down your products or your gifts in this example. And I would say that was the other component to the success in my shop is not only focusing on these products and focusing on this gift lens, but also not being afraid to really get specific in my products. So you're thinking about a niche. In the course, we walk through the graduation niche, and learning that it's okay to really get specific and focus these gifts on areas, on occasions, on events, on people that, again, they're not going to find that anywhere else, and when they see it, it really emotionally connects with them, whether that's humorous or it's sentimental or whatever that is. And so we have this micro niching workbook that tries to make that process easier, so that it walks you through, okay, picking an occasion or picking some type of event, who is it for, and then narrowing that down even further. And it really replicates the process that I've used in my own shop, that I'm still using every day in my own shop, in being able to do that and merging it with this gifts idea.
Yeah, I would say a lot of parallels to my own personal
Yeah.
approach. And I think it's like, if we think about it, it makes sense. Like, if you wanted to sell these things in Target or something, like what if you mapped everybody in a 10-mile radius of that Target? What percentage of people go to that Target physically every day? Like a
Right.
fraction of a percent, right? And it's like, if they got super specific with their products, it would be a terrible way of generating sales. But the exact opposite exists on the internet, where we can appeal to the very specific people. They could live anywhere in the United States and it could convert into a sale theoretically.
Yes, absolutely. And something, I was just meeting with one of my coaching students, and she was talking about how she just sometimes gets paralyzed that something isn't good enough or anything like that. And I think the other thing I would tell newer print on demand sellers or those who want to get into print on demand is that messy action is okay, and trying things, testing things, seeing what works. Obviously, you want it to be based in some type of research. You want to try to follow these strategies that those who have made all these sales, like I followed lots of different YouTubers and courses, all of the above. And you want to listen to that, but you also want to read your own data, and you also want to take action. And that, I think, is one of the other really big key elements, is just being willing to try things. And I was telling her, I said, what's the worst that can happen? You spend 20 cents, she's selling on Etsy, you spend 20 cents on the listing, and if no one buys it, no one buys it. But now you have more data to be able to say, okay, this didn't work. Let me try something else. And I think approaching everything from kind of that, you're getting information, you're getting data from Etsy or your customers or your non customers, is really helpful for informing your next steps.
Yeah, again, perspective, right? Like, even if
Mhm.
it's not an
Yeah.
overnight success, like
Yeah.
you're getting incrementally better at e-commerce, which is not going away anytime soon. Etsy's going to be
Exactly.
here. It makes a lot of sense to me. So, investing in a good coach. I mean, I love that. I love that you've also just refined the scope. That's something that I really want to do in 2025 too, because I had never launched like a very specific course, but I did this year because I was seeing such ridiculous success in the political niche specifically. So I literally just said, look, and this is what I always do with my courses. I just say, I will show you my numbers and then show you how I did it. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. And, but I said, this is just a political print on demand course. So it's really not that useful anymore. No one's buying it now, but like the people who did, we had some just insane, and it's not like I'm taking credit. It was just like a function of the demand.
Right.
But I love that idea. I just love that, like really refining the scope of something.
Yep. Yep. It's been fun. It's great. And I always say, even if I can help a few people to make some sales, and we've been having some students reach out who started taking the course last week and are already seeing some sales on these POD products that we specifically talk about. And it's just really exciting knowing, and I know there's so much potential there. And I'm sure you get this all the time, like, why would you share everything you do? And it's like, there's so much, when you get to this point, you see how much opportunity is out there, that it's like, I'm only taking a very small percentage of the market. There's so much potential out there. And if I can help some other aspiring POD sellers, change their life or bring in an extra $1,000 a month or whatever they want, then I'm so on board for that and so game for that.
Yeah, the pie is absolutely massive, and
Yes.
you seem like a good person. Like I definitely know it makes me feel good to like pay it forward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy that part, and it's really done so much for us. It's truly changed our lives. And I don't say, I'm not like a cliche person, but it has changed our lives. And if I can help anyone else do that, then I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, and it's empowering just beyond like the financial too. It's like it makes you
Yes.
feel good as a person that you're like thriving in what you do in your day-to-day life. Like honestly, to me, like one of the best feelings that you could like get is like just being fulfilled. Like when I put my head down on my
Yeah.
pillow at night and I've like had a good day, a fulfilling day, that's like the best feeling that I can get. So if I can pay that forward to other people, it's definitely it's a good feeling.
Yes, absolutely. I was posting on, I have an Instagram account and I'm doing this 12 days of Etsy niches for cha-chings, like a little series over the next couple days. And today I posted about the grief niche, which was one that I really hadn't explored before. And I was telling some students and other people that it's one of the most fulfilling niches. And I know I'm selling something. I know it's e-commerce. I know it's a business, but you get the most rewarding messages from customers when you're selling in these really impactful areas. And I'm not saying everything I sell is in that area, but there is definitely a lot of reward and you can get a lot out of this type of business personally and professionally, but personally too, it can be something that very much fills your cup on a daily basis.
Love that. And is your Instagram the one that's on your nameplate there, so I can link it in
Yes.
the description of this video?
Yes, so it's ecom with 2 M's, Emily, and so I do post a lot about both print on demand and digital products selling on Etsy.
Awesome. So I will link to the course. I will link to your Instagram. And is there anything else that you would like to share? It's been great getting to know you today. I hadn't met you before this, but
Yeah.
congrats on your success and thank you for making time.
Thank you. No, I think all I would say is that there's still so much potential out there. And I hope, even if this inspires one or two people to try selling giftable print on demand products or testing that out, I would be so excited. And it's not too saturated. That's all I will say. There is plenty of space for all of us. So I hope this is helpful context and perspective for some people out there.
All right, guys, say thank you if you enjoyed this video and check out Emily's links linked in the description. And Emily, thank you.
Thank you for having me.